Hi, my name is Phil Colcord, and I'm the president of Fraternal Order Police Evergreen Lodge 1 here in Kitsap County. And this is our outreach program, where we talk about with people that are involved in different programs throughout the county so that you can see what's out there and get the insight as to what is available when you have a person in your family or yourself is in need. Today we have Rebecca Reeder, and she's with North Kitsap Recovery Resources. And this is a brand new thing, right?
It is brand new. We just opened about a month ago, and we're situated in Poulsbo Village, serving North Kitsap.
Okay, great. And we also have the pleasure to have the Chief of Police of Poulsbo, Ron Harding. Ron, tell us a little about yourself.
I've been in Poulsbo for just a month over 3 years, so it seems like a short time. Prior to that, I was serving in King County in the city of Redmond, Washington for 26 years.
Wow. Okay, very good. And a little bit about you, Rebecca.
So I'm new to Poulsbo as well. My partner and I moved here earlier this summer, but I'm coming from Arizona, and I'm happy to be in Washington.
Are you cold?
I love it. I love it. I'll trade this over, the 100-degree heat any day.
Oh, okay. And you must be, your workload must have went down coming from King County over to here.
You know, it's funny, people ask me that. The role I took on here, because we're a smaller agency by quite a bit and less staff, I find that I'm actually more involved in a lot of the groundwork, whereas before I maybe oversaw more programs, but in Poulsbo I actually am busier than I was.
I can believe you get your hands dirtier in Poulsbo with the amount of work you got to do.
I don't mind it at all.
That's good. That's what we need, somebody like that here. From a law enforcement perspective, tell me what the issues are in Poulsbo when it comes to substance abuse.
So we're really typical of every other place in Washington and maybe the country, but we have seen a rise in substance abuse and substance use disorder. It puts a lot of pressure on the resources in our county and in the north end especially, because most resources are located in the southern part of the county. We have fewer resources, so we have a big impact. A lot of our crime is related in one way or another to substance use. Our property crime ties into it. A lot of the other things that we deal with all seem to revolve around substance use.
And it's unfortunate, but I've seen it over the years, and when people that are addicted, when they have trouble getting their drugs or need their drugs, then they get desperate, and desperate people commit crimes, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Okay, tell us a little bit about the, that's a mouthful, Recovery Resource Center.
The North Kitsap Recovery Resource Center. Yep. So we are a resource center. We see ourselves as a connector, a hub for any kind of recovery-related resource a person or their family might need. So it's very difficult when you embark on this journey for whatever reason to navigate all the kind of disjointed resources that might exist. So we serve as to be kind of a hub in the North to connect people to anything that they might need.
And are you busy?
We would love to be busier. We've seen several families and members so far, and we're continuing to do outreach within Poulsbo and the surrounding areas.
When you're new, it takes a while before they start pushing the door in by the drones. So.
It's true. It takes a minute, but we'll get there.
Yeah, enjoy the time now because it'll probably be a lot worse. So, Chief, can you tell me recent laws? I mean, it's gone back and forth and around when it comes to drugs and substance abuse and so forth.
Yep.
Can you explain where we are now and so forth?
So recently we did have the legislature restore some of our ability to take enforcement action for drug possession. And what we have really tried to focus on in Poulsbo is to use those incidents as opportunities to try and interrupt maybe the cycle of abuse, to have that little bit of a stick to, get people to choose something different. We acknowledge that it's a difficult thing. It's not just a matter of choice. When you're dealing with an addiction and a disorder, often what you need is a disruption in the patterns that you've had. And that's kind of what we're hoping that this resource center and our partnership with the resource center maybe can be, is our ability to, we interject ourselves into people's lives maybe with an arrest, but we understand that by itself is not going to change behavior or give them the resources they need. So we hope to come along and partner with the resource center to say, here's another option, some things that you could use that you may need to help you.
And in the resource center, how do you treat the patients that come in, or people that come in and want assistance?
Yeah, so it's a self-directed process. We're there in support of all pathways to recovery. So we know that in the beginning, especially when someone might be coming through the legal system or for other reasons, there's a lot of questions that exist around what even could recovery look like for me. So we're going to spend some time talking about what that could be. But from a logistics standpoint, it's medications that can support with detox, withdrawal, medication-assisted treatment in general, peer support, non-clinical case management, short-term mental health counseling. We're also positioned to support family members and loved ones of people who are struggling as well. So it takes education, it takes a lot of compassion and kindness, and just showing people that, somebody's in their corner and can kind of hold the light for them as they navigate all this.
Okay. And what's Poulsbo Police Department support the Recovery Center? You support them. What's the idea behind your support?
So one of the things that we have learned is that for a person to enter into recovery, they have to connect with a lot of services, and many times those are things they have not had access to prior, or they've lost access to. One example, they may not have ID, or perhaps they're entitled to state benefits that they're not receiving because they've allowed their address to lapse, or they don't have a permanent address. When a person exits court with stipulations to meet a list of requirements, just the ability to do that can be overwhelming. So our approach has been, let's put all those resources, or as many of them as we can, in one place. We'll help get them to that place where they can start to make connections, start to build relationships, and put the pieces all together. So rather than just arresting someone, incarcerating them, our role is that we hope to be kind of a doorway into a resource center where they can find some real, actual, life-changing help.
Yeah, so that makes a good union between law enforcement and the Recovery Center. Yeah, because it's, without getting help, it's just a revolving door that they're going to be coming back and back, What's going to happen when someone new arrives at the center?
So they'll be greeted by myself or one of our peer support specialists. If they're interested in being a member, which just means they share a little bit of information about who they are with us, and a little bit of information about other resources that they might need, we connect them to whatever other services exist on site. So for people coming through the court system, a lot of times the first thing they're going to need is a substance use evaluation. We offer those for free, so we'll get that scheduled. If they're interested in other support like mental health counseling or medication-assisted treatment, we're able to offer that as well. But like Chief said, sometimes just getting re-enrolled in benefits so that you have other doors open for treatment, talking about what does it look like if I need detox, I need an ID. There's lots of things that we're able to kind of connect the dots for them on.
That's good. Good to have. While I'm on that, what days and times is RRC open?
So currently we do walk-ins on Mondays and Thursdays from 10 to 4. So that means no appointment. You can just show up anytime between 10 and 4 and we'll meet with you and figure out how we can help. Any other day that someone might need support or services, just call me and we'll make arrangements.
Okay, sounds good. Now, Poulsbo Police has a police navigator. I'm not familiar with that. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah. So we have a gentleman that works with our department who he's currently pursuing his master's in social work. He has some lived experience with substance use disorder. He's come from a background when he was a young man where he was actually involved in some drug sales, was arrested, and that was an opportunity for him to take inventory of the path he was on and make a big change. He had people alongside that helped him do that, and became, for the next 20 years, worked his way through the education system, has been clean and sober, and has worked with people who have substance use disorder or other problems, and has become a big advocate for really helping to change people's lives. And his name is Josh. He works with our department full-time. He's in court on Wednesdays, Thursdays to help navigate people to the resource center. He's also in our community doing the same thing, trying to get people connected into the resource center. So,
Okay, that sounds good. And why are peers important to the resource center?
Yeah, like Chief said, it's one thing to receive support or engage in some kind of conversation with someone who loves you, supports you, wants to see you do well, but has no lived experience. And it's a whole different dynamic when people can engage with others who have walked that road. And while there's never an expectation that you walk the same road that I walk to get to, wherever it is we want to be, it's helpful to have someone who's figured out how to, break through some of the barriers. It's important to understand that there's nuanced support that makes a big difference in whether someone feels like they're understood, really heard and seen. And the journey through any kind of addiction is very dark and very painful. And to have someone who can kind of speak that language is really compelling and effective. We know that peer work is effective in all kinds of circumstances, and that doesn't change when it comes to substance use disorders.
Do you have to worry about monitoring the peers that you have helping others, as far as, it's a slippery slope that for a long time they can slip right back off and back into drugs again?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. If we think about recovery from addiction as built on a foundation of community and connection and the ability to live into your fullest self, I think that when peers who are doing this work in a professional capacity are supported in that way, the draw of returning to use again diminishes when we're able to live in that way. And so, that's our commitment through the Resource Center to any peer that would be working with our members.
Actually, that works, with AA too. So, I mean, I know people that have been in AA and they swear by it, that it keeps them, when they get weak, they have someone that knows exactly how they feel to help them to stay strong. And so,
community and connection is the game changer.
Yeah, I think that's ideal. So, Chief, how does courts respond to the Recovery Resource Center?
yeah, the court partnership has been very good. We've worked with Chad Enright and with his office, and then on the local level with Judge Tolman, and they have both really embraced this idea. I think really just seeing that there's more of a need than what we've supplied in the past. We have a great track record of, whatever you want to call it, the war on drugs, and we know that it has not done what we wanted it to do. So folks are open and willing to try other methods, and I think really this is the kind of support we've gotten from the courts has been great.
Good, good. Can you explain, what's the center's stance on medication assisting or assessment treatment?
Yeah, so the center is full support of all pathways. So a big part of how people recover does include medications. Medication-assisted treatment is partially about, moving through detox more comfortably, but it's also a longer-term solution for people who need medication-assisted support in order to navigate ongoing withdrawals, ongoing cravings. The body and brain take a minute to heal, and so medications play a crucial role for some people in making it to certain milestones or putting some time together.
Good. Has there been an interest outside Poulsbo to help assist or have you help them get started with the program?
There's been some interest. I think the approach in Kitsap really has kind of been to sit back and watch and see what kind of success we have. Although outside of our county, there have been other resource centers that we've looked at, that we've kind of modeled some of our programs after, and those are successful. What we're doing is a little bit new, and it's going to take us a little bit of time. There's always some inertia. But I think there is interest, and really there's a hope. I think Chad said it well. He hasn't seen, Chad Enright, hasn't seen anything like this in Kitsap before, and he's one of our biggest cheerleaders to see it work. So
Good, good. Yeah. What does it cost? Is there a cost involved?
So services within the center are free thanks to funding that we've received through the City of Poulsbo and also Olympic Community Health. So any peer support services, non-clinical case management, short-term mental health counseling, SUD assessments, wound care, basic medical care, all of that is free. If you go on to participate in ongoing services through other partner agencies that might be on site or that we connect you with, there may be a charge for that depending on how that agency operates. But anything you do at the center is free.
And let me interject there too, the center and the police department, they're involved in helping you get ID so you can get the service that insurance and so forth that is needed. So it's kind of twofold. You got a lot of free stuff, plus you can help them get the other service they need, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Let's see, Oh, I have a question for you, Chief. I interviewed the Poulsbo police chief. He told me about the care unit that they have with their fire department.
Right.
Is it care? Do you guys interact with people there?
Yeah, we do. As you can imagine, we sometimes serve the same clients, so we are in communication. Our navigator and fire cares social worker work very closely together, and fire cares is also an integral part of the Recovery Resource Center too.
Yeah, I think they got a good concept, and you put it all together, you're getting closer to success. So
they're very complementary.
Yeah, good, good.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me back. I already know this answer, but how does RRC work with partner agencies?
So we host many partner agencies on site, rotating schedules throughout the month where they're coming on site and providing services directly, under our roof, just to make it a little bit easier for people to navigate through all that. We're also, always welcoming and exploring other partner agencies to come on board in whatever capacity would work for them. The Resource Center is a focused resource center in that it serves people wanting to explore recovery, SUD-related recovery. And so there's a lot of other resource agencies that kind of have a wider net, but we know that those needs overlap. So we would invite anybody in that would want to work alongside of us.
And they just call your office?
Yep.
Okay. And on, the biggest victims that are the silent victims basically and don't get any help is the the family of the abuser, the addicted person. Do you guys do anything for the family people?
Absolutely. Family members, loved ones, caregivers, spouses. If you're struggling, if someone else's use is impacting you in some way that feels negative, the Resource Center is there to support you as well. In the new year, we're looking at building out some programming that would be some education night for parents and loved ones and families, and then also a support group for parents, loved ones, and family members as well.
I have another kind of question that's away from this a little bit, but we're beginning to run out of time.
Yeah.
I ran our special investigation unit for years, and I worked undercover 2 different times, and so I know a lot of people on drugs. I never met anybody that got on drugs on purpose. They were party, they wanted to get high, they felt good, but when they don't have drugs, that's all they think about is getting drugs. And when you arrested them before, you could arrest them. I would like to see a law that they get arrested, they get put into a treatment center, and they get help or they go to jail. Simply because I know a lot of them that have simply got well. And they got well because they were forced to have the treatment. But then they thank God that they got it when they got well and they were feeling good. And, right now, you guys are really uphill battle. How are you going to get these people that, I talked to the Bremerton chief of police, fire chief. I talked to too many people. And they had this one guy, he gave him the Narcan for the 3rd time. Every time he goes, I don't want to go. I'm not going to go here. Leave me alone. And you just wrecked my good high. I mean, they saved his life. But, back in the day, we had a law that if they're a danger to themselves or others, you could take them into custody. And to me, it seems like that's a logical law to have, and we should have it. Anyway, you guys, any comments on that? Or
I think one of the things that I've seen the potential for and effectiveness of is the peer program. And Rebecca talked about it earlier. If you can meet with someone that you sense understands you, a lot of times folks that have substance use disorder meet with just a lot of judgment, and they don't. The ones I've
take it well.
They don't, and they feel like maybe they're not even seen as a real person. So when they can connect with someone that's been down that path but has turned around and found a different way to live, I think that resonates because they have that hope. Like you said, no one wakes up and decides, today I think I'd really like to become addicted to something. They don't want that life, but it's a powerful pull.
Right.
So I think that, for me, I think that's one thing that we're seeing the benefit of and the importance of is peer work.
I agree, We're almost out of time. You got anything you'd like to add?
I would like to just expand on that a little bit. Peer work is important, and encouraging everyone who knows someone with a substance use disorder or it's been impacted or is struggling themselves. I think it's important to recognize the humanity in people who are struggling and suffering in that way. And like you said, people don't wake up and decide, yes, I'd like to be addicted to drugs and some, but people do wake up every day in lots of capacities and say, I don't want to be in pain like this. I don't want to suffer like this. And people find their way to problematic use for all kinds of reasons, but the main driver of that is a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And the Resource Center wants to play a part in unpacking that with people and supporting them as they find their way out.
I want to thank you both for being here today, and you're both welcome back whenever you have something you want to say and tell the public. And to our listeners out there, there are people to help. Whether you're family or you're addicted, they're just a phone call away. And we'll have it on our website. It'll be you can call them too. You can go to their website. So I hope it was helpful to some people, and I hope you'll give them a call and if you have a problem in the family and get help. So thank you for your time, and thank you folks, and that concludes this show. Be safe out there.